Hey, what's up guys? I've got a little bit of a treat for you. It is the Fender P bass made in Mexico. I acquired this from my guitarist, which I got a pretty good deal on. My former guitarist thought I'd help him out with some cash. He could hook me up with a Fender, because for some people a Squier, which you can check out right over here, isn't going to be enough, or they're going to want the Fender brand name. I know I do, and you know, what's a bass player without a Fender P or a Fender Jazz? As you're seeing this bass, it's going to be in the current state, and in the current state it is Lake Placid blue. It's got a white pickguard, it's got the original pickups, it's missing a knob, it's got one volume knob, original bridge, and it's got a chip right over here on the body. I don't know if you can see that. I'll probably bring that closer to you. It's got a chip there. The neck seems to be in a pretty good condition because I'm able to get some good action off of it. I can play every note, hear it clearly, so I don't think it has much of a setup problem, though I will be getting one. Everything is pretty standard on it. If you flip it around, it's got the standard P back, it's got the line on the neck, it's got a truss rod inside of it like every neck should have, it's got the Made in Mexico serial number, Fender name, tuners. So not much out of the ordinary with this instrument. What I'm going to do is upgrade this bass to the best of my abilities. I'm going to put new parts on it. I'm going to try to enhance this instrument to make it one of the ones that I actually play live. Right now I only play one bass live. You can check that out right over here. That's the only one that I like to use, and I'm usually only a 5-string user. But if I'm going to be bringing a 4-string into my daily playing or my practice styles or even on stage, then I'm going to want to do a lot more to this instrument than it's actually giving me right now. That includes some of the minor things like getting a new knob, leaving the chip because I like the character that it gives it, getting a new pick guard because I want a different colored pick guard, and possibly going farther up, getting another bridge, which would probably be a badass too. And if I don't get another bridge, I'm going to leave the one that it has on there, depending on how I like the sustain. And the biggest change I'm going to be making is getting new pickups. I'm going to be installing EMG X pickups for P bass and tell you guys how that sounds. Other than that, I'm probably going to leave everything as it is. I'm probably going to put some new strings on here, and I might even get it reset up just to see how I like the action after it's set up, how easily it plays after I make all these changes to it. You guys are going to hear the bass in its current state. Obviously the main change in the sound is going to be after I change the pickups. Changing the pickguard and adding knobs isn't going to change how this thing sounds, but you guys can see the transformation from how I have it now to how I'm going to have it later. Obviously there are a lot of videos on P basses and things like that, so I'm not really going to give you a review on what I think about it because it is a P bass and it's a Fender, and usually they sound good or bad and things like that. But a lot of people have been actually asking me what they are compared to Squiers, or how the Fender made in Mexico or made in Japan are compared to Squiers. My personal opinion is that it's a bit better. I will give you a sound test later on the difference between the two. You can probably just check out this video and my Squier video to see the sound difference, but I might actually just put one in the video itself, or this video itself. There isn't too much of a difference on how it plays versus how it sounds, because the sound is actually what is superior over the Squiers, at least the way that I've found it. But some of the Squier vintage models actually plays just as good as this bass does, or actually rivals the Fender name in Made in Mexico. So if you guys actually want a pretty cheap instrument that sounds good, that plays really good, that looks like a Fender, but doesn't really have to have the Fender name, the Squier Vintage Series is a good place to go. Of course, I mentioned this in the other video, and if you guys want to get into that, go watch that video. But the Mexican Fender stands its ground pretty well. Of course, having the Fender name and having the option to switch out for other Fender name parts is a pretty good thing to have, at least in my opinion. Alright, you guys are going to hear this in, of course, the current state that I got it in. Everything is stock on it as it was bought from the day, of course with a couple things missing, but this is how the bass sounds fingerstyle. So as you heard, at this point it needs some new strings. Probably need to tune it up a little bit more. The tuning's a little bit off after about a day's worth of playing. The pickups work as well as a P-bass should. I mean, they're passive, they hold up pretty well for what it does. Of course, I would like a little bit something extra, so I'm going to be changing those out. So far, the only thing that I haven't really decided on is the bridge itself. You will see later on if I actually do change that. Something that I like about this bridge is that it's pretty simple. It's a Fender bridge. It comes as it is, and it's easy to fix and repair and change things around. But if I add the bridge that I want to add, I might actually get more sustain and probably get what I'm looking for out of this instrument itself, especially for the type of music that I play. This will be the unboxing for the EMG PX bass pickups. This is obviously what the box will look like. It looks pretty nifty. It's a nice little compact box. You can see that is the EMG PX pickup in black. You can also get them in white and ivory. The reason I didn't buy it in white, or buy the set in white, even though it would have looked better with my black pickguard, is because the logo is silver, as you can see on the picture that I'm probably showing you right now. And that doesn't show up very well. And also on ivory, the logo is gold, which doesn't show up very well as well. So the black is the only one that's got a logo that shines, and I'm pretty cocky when it comes to this instrument, as you guys might tell with my other videos, so I'd like the logo to show. Opening up the cute little flip right here, I will show you what's inside the box. It's got a... oh, open that up in there. This is the actual EMG box. This is the outer protective box. This is the actual box for the EMG. It's all black, just says EMG, and play it. If you watch another video on YouTube with somebody else that's actually remaking a Fender P-Bass, but he's actually rebuilding the hell out of it, and actually it's not even a real Fender, but he's got EMG pickups, and he describes this tag, this little sticker right here, as you just bought it. Basically, this means you just bought it. You cannot return it after you break the seal. I'm not sure if that's completely true, but I guess if it is, then I'm safe right now, but I'm gonna buy it. Just gonna cut that open right here from this end. It's kind of awkward doing this video. There we go. Put the knife away for safe measures. Open it up, and voila! This is the EMG X set pickups. This is what they look like. This is what they're going to be on the inside. So obviously you're going to be taking this part out. These are just the pickups, and so, well, not just the pickups, these are the pickups, so this is what I paid for, but put these over here. It's got the stuff you need. It's got a wiring diagram / all the crap you need to exchange the pickups, to change them from the instrument that you have, because they're going to have obviously passive pickups that you're going to be changing. Usually that's what it is. If you're going to be going from EMG to EMG, then you probably don't need all the wiring here, but this is going to help you. And this is probably an instruction manual. Yeah, it gives you a diagram of the pickup itself. On the inside, you'll see that it gives you everything you need, all the way from all these connectors and wires, obviously you'll need those, to pots. You actually get new pots here that you'll have to put your old knobs on. And the cool thing is it gives you another input jack, gives you a different input jack. So your pots are going to be different, your input jack is going to be different, your connection is going to be different, all this wiring here is going to be used. Basically, it's solderless. The whole idea behind these EMG pickups is that they're solderless. You don't actually have to solder pickups. So then when you exchange them for other, let's say, P-bass pickups or any kind of EMG pickups, you can just take them out and just reconnect them using these quick pin connections. So it's a quick connect system that I think works very well, or is going to work very well. I've had EMGs before, but I didn't install them in my guitar that I had, my Agile guitar. They came in there, so this is going to be my first installation of these pickups. So it's going to be solderless. Now, if you want to move from these active pickups to another set of active pickups like Seymour Duncan Blackouts, of course, not for this particular instrument, but anything like that, you might be able to connect them, I'm not sure, but you're probably going to have to take everything out and use what those active pickups come with, because this is, I think, patent to only EMG, and you can only use these quick connect pins with other EMG products. And this is the packaging back in its box again, so it all fits back in there. So if they do take it back after you break that seal open and you don't like the pickups, then it'll be packaging pretty perfectly back into the box it has. One thing that this does not come with, and something that really surprises me actually, is the fact that it does not come with a 9-volt battery. You need a 9-volt battery to power an active pickup. You can also use 2 9-volt batteries, but this doesn't even come with one. So when you buy this on your shopping list, you probably want to add one Duracell 9-volt battery. I go for Duracell because, of course, they are the king of batteries for any kind of reason. I've done a science project when I was in 5th grade, and I decided to test each battery from Energizer to Duracell to Rayovac and things like that, and Duracell ended up coming up first, so they don't lie about being the most powered. So what I think that you should do is either look for one around the house that's new. You want to use a new one that will go with this set of pickups, because the specific one, these base PX pickups, do not come with a 9-volt battery, which I'm really disappointed in EMG for not giving me a 9-volt battery. Now I have to go out in the hassle finding a 9-volt, because 9 volts are probably the biggest bitches of batteries to ever use, because they're got those pins on them. But I'm just rambling now. Get another battery set, or get a battery set in the first place if you're going to get these pickups. I'm pretty sure they might come with the 81 or something like that, but this set they don't, so get another battery. Along with the EMG PX bass pickups, I'm going to be installing some new knobs, because there was a knob missing, so I have ordered some new knobs from guitarfetish.com. If you're going to get hardware, bass parts, you probably want to go to that site, because they've got some pickups and guitars and things like that for very good price, and it's very top quality stuff. These are Telecaster flathead knobs that I'm going to be replacing. Actually, both the knobs on the instrument, the one that doesn't have a knob and the knob that I originally have on there, I'm going to pop off and put this one in there. Along with that, I'm going to be installing a black pick guard. Again, I got this from guitarfetish.com, a really awesome site for even these kinds of things. I read on there that this fits a Fender Mexican P-bass almost perfectly, and when it says that, they say that this fits best a Fender Mexican P-bass. It says an American bass, you might have to do a little bit of tweaking on there. You might not actually be able to get a perfect fit on there, but you will be able to get this on your instrument, whether it is Japanese, Mexican, or American P-bass. But something that it does not comply with, something that doesn't comply with my instrument itself, is it's got this here, and this little cut right here is made for a truss rod access, because some Fenders, usually a lot of P-basses, have the truss rod accessed from the body rather than on top of the headstock, where a lot of, or at least mine actually, is located. So this is actually going to be going pretty useless, and it's going to be there, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. So again, I can see that this is made as a universal P-bass pick guard, but it's going to work pretty well for what I've got, so at least so the site says, and I got it for a really good price, so I won't be wasting too much of my money if this doesn't fit. Last but not least, I'm going to be installing a 3-inch DiMarzio clip lock strap. You can see that it is rather large. 3 inches is rather large from its counterpart of 2 inches. Actually, let me show you the 2-inch. This one is the 2-inch, this is the 3-inch. Put them side by side. The 2-inch gives off some more space there to the 3-inch, so that's a lot of space actually. That's pretty good. I should have bought just these for my bass. Actually, these actually got past my filters. I bought the regulars for guitar, and I've been doing crazy stuff. If you want to check out a video, probably click right over here, and it'll take you to a video there, and you can see what I think about these straps and what you can do with these to make them raise really high, especially for bass players. But this is going to be a rather large one, made for bass guitars and very heavy guitars. And we're back with the finished product. I've changed everything, even my clothes. To recap on everything, I changed the pick guard because I didn't like the white pick guard that came with the bass. I added some clip lock straps, which are made specifically for bass because these are the thicker ones. I put in another knob because I didn't like it having just one knob. The only thing that's really aesthetically displeasing is this chip that's on the bass, which I'm going to keep because it, I guess, adds character to the instrument, I would say. And I also slapped on some new strings on here. These are active pickups, so the articulation is going to be a little bit better. But let's get to the actual sound of how it's going. First I'm going to show you in the camera how it sounds, and then later I'm going to take you to some sound clips that I recorded on an interface so you guys can actually hear a little bit better what this thing can actually do in a recorded setting. So as you heard, much better than how it used to sound. It's also a lot louder. I'm running it straight clean through the amp. I ran it clean in the beginning, and it just has a higher output than the original pickups on here, so it's a lot louder. There's a lot more presence. As the microphone isn't going to be able to do much from the camera, I am going to give you some sound clips. So overall, I'm very happy with the way that it sounds. It's a very awesome bass. I wanted to grab a Fender P because people have been asking me what I thought of Fender Ps and what I thought of Fender basses, because I started with a Squier. And I would not really need to do a review, because you don't really need a review of a Fender P bass. A Fender P bass is a Fender P bass. But this is what I would do to it. This is how I like my P basses. So if you guys needed any kind of help, if you want a P bass, I'd recommend putting some active pickups on there and kind of revamping it to look as new as possible, but also having that 67, 66 look. You know, just go crazy with it. It's a very awesome instrument. It's a very fat sound, and I think that this bass is going to be lasting me a very long time in all the band endeavors I'm going to be in. If you guys have any questions on this particular bass, please ask me. I will answer them to the best of my ability. If I get enough questions, I will add them to the next FAQ, or I'll put it in another video somehow. But thank you very much for watching.